All right, it's time for QB1 with Chris Phillips, and we're talking about Justin Fields. What do you think the feel is from Bear fans as it relates to Justin Fields, Chris? Are they on board, not on board? What's your sense?
Hope. I'd say that's probably the key word there. There's a lot of hope around him. There are a lot of Bears fans that are really hoping Fields can deliver on the promise of being their most talented quarterback since Jim McMahon. But the question remains of can he actually reach that level of excellence and that hope that they have. Some Bears fans I know aren't necessarily buying into him just yet. The whole evaluation and looking at Justin Fields, it's really tough to right now. He's had a poor rookie season. Matt Nagy did him no favors as a head coach. And now you look at year two, they've kind of moved some key veteran pieces away from the team. They've started to rebuild around Fields, which is great. They just don't have a lot else to support Fields other than Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet. Those two players should hopefully be good. But the question remains, can they, and can Fields make them better? So the key word here with Fields is hope. There's a lot of hope that Fields is the guy and can make things, really great in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, except in the most unusual of circumstances, it takes more than a quarterback and just a couple standout players to make an offense successful. And how big of a question mark is that with not really knowing what he has around him, with missing some key pieces around him? I imagine that does make evaluation of what he's capable of really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you even look at the offensive line. They haven't been able to protect him a whole lot. It was well documented in this past offseason that the Bears needed offensive line help, and they didn't do a lot to really answer that need. Right now, you saw a lot in preseason with Fields being under duress, not having time to throw, having to do a lot of scrambling to get away just to buy enough time to even throw the pass. His rushing ability is without question. He can do that all day of the week. That's not a problem. The problem is by him running, he's going to open himself up to taking a lot of hits. The more hits the quarterback takes, the more likelihood there is for an injury. And that's something Bears fans, or really any team, doesn't need, is to have their quarterback take a lot of hits and get injured. We see that a lot every year with a franchise quarterback taking a lot of hits, something along their career, they get a big injury because of all those hits they took. Most of the times, those teams will resolve that issue and upgrade their offensive line. The Bears haven't done that. That's not to say that they won't do that. Right now, they still have an opportunity to do that as well. Tevin Jenkins, their rookie from 2 years ago now, looks to be good, but that's just one guy. There still needs to be some more talent around there, some more protection for Fields, which if he can get more protection, hopefully Fields then can deliver on his passing abilities and really get a better evaluation for himself.
You alluded to the friction with Matt Nagy, the old head coach, basically saying he didn't do him any favors. I mean, how much more favorable do you think the current setup is with the new coach? Is this a situation that's ultimately going to benefit him a little more?
We're going to go back to that key word of hope. Bears fans are certainly hopeful that Matt Eberflus is much better than Matt Nagy. Week one, so far so good. Bears are 1-0, and they played in less than desirable conditions for an NFL game. The second half, I believe, was pretty much just playing in a monsoon, and the Bears were able to move the ball and come away and win and have probably one of the best team celebrations after the game, with everyone, doing a slip inside in the end zone, which was pretty cool to see. They look like they're having fun. The team looks like they're rallying around Fields. And that is something that you can kind of attribute to both Fields and to Matt Eberflus. When Eberflus was in Indy, he was able to get his players to really buy in and to really believe in what Eberflus was preaching and to really have a lot of fun. The Colts defense had a lot of fun playing and making plays on the field. And I think that's something that has translated into Chicago. And we kind of saw that in week one. The biggest question, though, is can Eberflus get a good offense going with Justin Fields? They hopefully have the quarterback that they need there. They hopefully have the playmakers, or at least a couple playmakers in Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney. But, there definitely needs to be more playmakers around Fields. David Montgomery's a really good back, but he's not kind of a big explosive pass catching type of a back. So hopefully Eberflus has done a good enough job in hiring a good offensive coordinator that can really develop Fields and get the offense to be on the same level. There shouldn't be any worry about Eberflus' ability to coach a defense. He's a good coach. Bears fans will be used to cover two again, as that's the type of defense Eberflus likes to run. So they should be doing just fine on that end. And honestly, I think most of Eberflus's judgment as his coaching abilities will fall on how well that defense does.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, could Luke Getsy have a pretty significant impact in the development of Fields?
He should. He is their offensive coordinator. He does have a past history of being an offensive quality control coach, a wide receivers coach, a QB coach, and then a passing game coordinator. And again, going back to being a quarterback coach again. So he has that experience of working within an offensive system and working in different levels on an offensive staff. So, he should really have the opportunity and be able to deliver Fields to an excellent second season. Now, if you look at Getsy's career, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to work with a young developing quarterback. So that is something that will be new for him, and that's probably his newest challenge that he probably is looking forward to, really. So hopefully Getsy can develop Fields into being a more competent and better quarterback.
Easier said than done, right? Because there are some coordinators and coaches that have a feel for what it takes to develop raw young talent. I think about Pete Carroll with the Seahawks, a guy who really knows how to develop a young quarterback. And then there are some coordinators and coaches who just don't have that part of their skill set. And it seems like in this situation, with how potentially volatile it was getting him to commit to Arizona and the way that they kind of flashed around some of his lack of preparation, that would be key. That relationship would be key. We'll end with this. I mean, you mentioned the word hope, right? Bears fans have reason to be optimistic, hopefully are optimistic. What are some positives that they can lean into as they continue to see what's possible with Fields?
The best thing they can really look forward to is the development of their young players. Again, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, Justin Fields, those are just three guys that, or even Tevin Jenkins is another one. The hope is that those four players can take the next step and build off of their rookie years and everything like that. For Jenkins, this is really going to be his rookie year since he missed all of last season due to an injury. But for the rest of those guys, they all got to play last year and they all had some success. And now the hope is that they can build off of that and take their game to the next level and really validate that hope that the organization has in those players, that these guys can be a part of the core of the next team that should be a dominant team in the NFC North.
They say hope springs eternal, right? Hopefully Justin Fields and the coaching staff will give them enough to get Bears fans through what could be a very cold and bitter winter, but we'll find out. QB1 with Chris Phillips. Chris, thanks.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more QB1.